Slow Parenting family. Thank you so much, people, for joining us at this time uh, on your program. Thank you, daddies, mummies, uncles, aunts, grandmas, grandpas, and those of you who are preparing to become parents, I will call parents to be. Thank you for joining this slow parenting program. Is that time of the day of the week that we come to you with um, your tonic, okay, and your nuggets for your parenting jobs. It's a slow parenting program. Welcome. Don't go away. My name is Richie Adewusi. It's a pleasure to have you join us today again and to look at another very topical, very important issue uh, in parenting. And as a matter of fact, this is beyond parenting, if there is anything beyond parenting in society. Okay, this is actually about equipping our children for them to become um, if you like, equipping, okay, well equipped, yeah, to get into the society, the general population, and pursue, their life dreams, their careers, their living, okay. There has been so many times on these programs while when and where um, the talk had been on the educational institutions in the country globally, especially uh, especially in some sub-Saharan African countries that are focused on paper qualifications. Of course, it's not only in sub-Saharan Africa. You have that challenge in a whole lot of other places where you have individuals who have gone to school, but um, don't have any skills, as it were. They're not prepared for the marketplace. They're educated, but they're not employed. That's a challenge. And for a country like Nigeria, for instance, I remember there was a time that uh, there was a system. I think that system is still in place now. It's called the 6334 uh, educational system, meaning uh,
Yes.
6 years in the 6 years in the primary school, uh, 3 years in the junior secondary, and 3 years in senior secondary, and then maybe 4 years at the university. Okay, the whole idea, I thought, that's my thinking, that the whole idea for, having the 3 years after the primary education, 3 years in junior secondary, as at the time this program was introduced in a place like Nigeria, uh, schools, secondary schools, especially the federal institutions, were equipped with workshops for several different kind of skills, acquisitions, and all of that, from plumbing to carpentry to electrical works and all of that. And then the students were trained in those areas for with around the junior time period. And I thought, I, I mean, there are other knowledgeable people on this program that Professor Wale is with us, is coming in. Welcome, Professor Wale. I thought that the reason for having that 633 system that time was that, not everybody would be destined, more interested or more, given to um, technical skills, could go right from junior secondary and then go to perfect the trade that he has learned in junior secondary and get into the job market. But then, like most things, most people believe that if their children did not go to the university, excuse me.
Open them.
Oh, sorry about that. I had some choking about there. Most parents, actually not some, believe that if their children did not go to university, maybe they wouldn't do well, or that's not what the society is looking forward for them. And then the mad race to have children go to the university, acquire university education, increase has remained, but has it solved the problem of preparing our children, um, for the marketplace? The answer is, from me, no. Okay, then what do we need to do? And in answering that question of what we need to do, okay, I saw a video. Someone sent me a video, uh, went viral online about a couple. Okay, a mixed couple. When I say mixed, one was a Nigerian, an Igbo man, and the man, and then the woman, the wife, was a Caucasian. Okay, I think it's a German, and they had a son, or they have a son, not had. They have a son. What they decided to do with their son become or forms the focus for our talking on this program today, because I believe that there are enormous lessons for parents to learn from that and begin to do something for themselves, by themselves, for their children, and for society in the long run while they do that. What did this couple do? Okay, like I've said, it's a couple of a Nigerian man, an Igbo Nigerian man, and a German wife, okay, who have a son. The son would go to school. That's the video. That's what's in the video. That's what's in the story online. The son would go to school, normal school, high school classes, and return, would not go into any extra lessons for the high school program, but then they went to register this boy in a mechanic workshop where they fix Mercedes-Benz cars. And this child went there studying as an apprentice. And after about 9 months of being there as an apprentice at that mechanic workshop where they repair Mercedes-Benz cars, the boy had become proficient in things like changing brake pads, changing the oil, generally what you call servicing a car, if you took your car to a mechanic workshop to be done. And this boy is still in high school, in secondary school. I felt that is something that's worth our discussion, something that is worth our drawing at the attention of parents too, and to say, let's not leave everything and say the government is not doing, the government is not doing. If the government refuses to be organized, must we also to refuse to be organized for the sake of our children and our mental health as we grow older, as the children grow older? Because you have a child who has gone to the university, the child graduates, no job, and they say, oh, well, something, you need to do your master's program. When you do your master's program, then maybe the child goes ahead, does master's program, still finishes, oh, no job. Okay, maybe if you did another program, paper. It is time for skills acquisition. Okay? I just needed to do that background to our discussion for today. My thinking is this parent, let's take this boy. Let's take this boy as our case study. Okay? He goes to school. Let's in line for the paper qualification. Yes. When he finishes from school, and he goes to this mechanic workshop and is doing apprenticeship on how to fix Mercedes-Benz cars. In 9 months, he has learned a trade, at least some part of a trade. Okay. The question I was going to ask Professor Yowale, if you took your car for servicing in a mechanic workshop, how much would it cost you normally? So theoretically, that's how much this boy, okay, is open to earning, even while in school. Okay, the money, the earning issue aside, this child is already focused, primed on occupying himself with something worthwhile. I know there are those of us who will say, well, shouldn't they have time to relax? And there will be a time. The mechanic workshop don't work 24/7. Okay, the parents have made the right decision, and that's why we've said the title of this program for today, this edition, is Teamwork Always Wins. The parents came together, agreed that it will be better for their son to not only focus on, academics, but also to look at skills. Okay, they agreed. Their son goes to a regular school, and then after school goes to learn how to service cars. Mercedes-Benz cars. So, Professor Yowale, welcome to the program. I presume you were having some technical issues earlier.
No, yeah, no problem.
Okay, the issue we're looking at here today is the parent who went to register their son, okay, who is in a school, who goes to a regular school, registers the boy to go to attend training as an apprentice in a mechanic workshop after school hours.
Yeah, that's what we usually do. They are returning back to the old ways. That was the way some of us were brought up. While I was in school, I was learning electrical work. I go and learn. Today, I'm very good in doing electrical work. I learned it when it was in primary school. And it was fun. Quite a lot of things I learned at that time. And that was the way we were. Quite a lot of us in our clients at that time, there are some who were learning how to repair bicycles. There are some who were also learning how to what do you call it? And how to make clothes. Those who make
tailoring.
Not tailoring. I'm talking of the native ashoke.
Okay, to weave. Okay,
yes,
to weave,
weaving. All of they do hand like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and some of my colleagues that were doing that also. So and it's quite good because today we are talking of PBL. We are talking of entrepreneurship. Unfortunately, in Nigeria today, most of the entrepreneurship that is being done in primary school and secondary school, even up to university level, they are basically skill acquisition. And skill acquisition is just one part. It's just a part out of 5 parts of entrepreneurship. And so there is need to learn everything. So it's quite good what that man who sent his small child.
It's not a man, it's both of them, because both of them is a parent, the mother and
the
father.
parent. It's good that the parent, okay, the parent that sent is quite good, but then that's not enough, because what that boy is going to learn there is basically skills. He's not going to learn management. He's not going to learn financial literacy. He's not going to learn idea generation, which are very key in entrepreneurship. And that's one of the things that we have been trying to do in this country, so that people can be able to, understand what this is all about. Entrepreneurship is quite good, and we need to bring it back fully into our educational system. Yes, if you see our curriculum, it is there, but then we are not teaching it the way it should be. So it's quite good what that parent has done. And I believe that if that boy come out of school, he or she can continue. I think it's a boy. He can become a better person, even if there is no job at that time. And then he might even. It's not even only that boy. There is also a lady in Kwara who is in the I think is in Polytechnic, and is already has a mechanic shop and is repairing big trucks and what have you. So these are all the things we are doing already, and then she has employed few people because she learned it when she was in secondary school. So it's quite good, and I love that. I believe that quite a lot of people, a lot of parents should try to encourage their children to become, skillful. But it's not just skill acquisition. It has to be the total entrepreneurship.
Thank you so very much, Professor Wale. Now, you hit on some issues there. You said it's in the curriculum, okay? You said skill acquisition is in the curriculum. You actually also said schools teach skills, or they're trained skills. Now my issue here is, what got me interested here is parents or society generally, we come up with the government. Now, these two people, this couple, okay, decided, regardless of whatever is in the curriculum that they are teaching their son in the school, they decide to take it upon themselves to say, okay, no, come, you're also going to do this after school. That's where I'm going. Because even if they teach entrepreneurship in those schools, when children graduate, when young people graduate from school, they'll give them a certificate. Most times, those certificates don't include those skill things that, skills are some things that are in you, okay? But now, if you are going to service a Mercedes-Benz car and say, okay, change the brake pad for me, okay, change the oil. Generally, when you need to service a car, there's a price range for doing that, depending on the brand of car, depending on the consumables that are going to be used. Okay? This boy changing the brake pad, because you mentioned he will not know pricing, he will not, it's not likely that he will not know. But that's not the issue here. My issue here is,
it's not pricing, I'm saying financial literacy.
Okay.
Is beyond pricing.
Okay, financial literacy, he can learn in school. Okay, he can learn in the regular school. Yes, he can learn in the regular school. But my interest here is that this couple took it on themselves and not waiting on the school curriculum, not waiting on government, not waiting on anybody. And they are actually a mixed couple. The wife is Caucasian, the husband is a Nigerian, an Igbo man, okay? And they took their son while other people are thinking about how to send their children away, okay, to other places to go to learn, they are there, even while it is possible that they had the opportunity to actually send that boy out of Nigeria. But they stay there, they make use of what is available. They took this child to, the workshop, and in 9 months, this boy has already acquired some skills to do some things that, even if we were to set up a workshop, you also mentioned the young woman who set up a workshop to do trucks. That person had polytechnic, that person has, this is a, I think, I'm saying secondary school, I think it was actually primary school, maybe just first year in secondary school that he started this. Okay. Now, my attention, my focus is on what the parents have done, the decisions the parents took on behalf of their children. How many parents are taking this kind of decision? Thank God that, like you said, when you were growing up, this was more like a given. Okay, people were doing it. Today, how many parents are thinking of sending their children to go to learn trade or skills? Okay. Boluwatiwe Ayopaleke, thank you for joining us. Welcome. Hello, Bolu, are you with us?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Nice to see
Hi,
you.
She's
everyone.
here with our cap.
Nice to see you, Bolu.
Prof, I've missed you.
It's a long time now.
Okay, Bolu, we are talking here. We're looking at this family, this couple that took their son, okay, to learn mechanic work, how to fix, how to repair Mercedes-Benz cars after school, And Prof, had contributed to say that yes, that's the right way to go. That as they were during their own days, that they had to go to learn bricklaying, learn tailoring, learn weaving, and all of that. My question is, why is it something that more parents should take up today? Because we are complaining about the educational curriculum not being effective, to prepare, not being sufficient to prepare young people for the job market as today. Do we think that more parents should begin to think like this couple?
Oh, yes, sir. Hi, everyone again. I absolutely believe that that should be the case, especially now that I guess the reasons are different. At that time, it was like, well, let me speak for myself. I thought that me going to learn a trade after secondary school before entering the university meant that my parents somewhat felt that in case I did not make it in school, which is funny because we were all really bright students and we were all top of our classes. So, there was just a stigma, I guess, attached to learning a trade at that time. That is no longer the case now. And, a lot of things we've matured, for lack of a better word, we've evolved. There's now a lot of focus and an emphasis on identity, on authenticity, on origin, on like where you're from, like heritage. So at that time, like I said, there was a stigma, I think, attached to that. Now there isn't. The truth of the matter is that right now, anything that you do can make money, can be money spinner, depending on how you package it. So, social media, popular culture has helped us to realize that you can actually package things. So, people are tailors and doing extremely well. Vicky J, James, or right, brother, people are just doing really well in whatever trades that they decide to do. We have female mechanics, we have people that play chess. Like literally anything can be a money spinner, a money maker now. So the stigma that was once attached is no longer the number one. The number two, the core reason, however, for wanting us to do it then, which I did not understand, again, I'm speaking for myself, was I assumed that it meant that, like, yeah, degrading me. Like, how dare you? My mom bought me, I still have those things now, proper, salon things, equipment, the one for washing your hair, the standing hair dryer, not just the mobile one, like proper standing dryer, basins and everything. She got me industrial machines, sewing machines. I went to learn how to sew. I wanted to immediately start using how to use the pedal foot. They said no, I had to use thread and brown paper. I got offended. You would see how mad I was that day, because like, how dare you tell me to sew paper? Like, I came here to learn, like, it's just funny that you don't, I didn't know how to make money. I was obviously very foolish, and yet I was proud, because again, there was a stigma attached. Right now, it's not like that anymore. But unfortunately also, because people seem to find quicker, shorter ways, shortcuts of making money, there's also an assumption that it's not the way to go. But the matter is that the fundamental reason for wanting us to do that is that a skill is yours forever, just like knowledge that you acquire in formal education is yours. But a skill is something that when push comes to shove and your back is against the wall and you're tight, you can use what you have in the media to make money. You don't have to rely on getting employment. So many of us that had first classes, 2-1s, 2-2s, are being employed by people that had third classes, passes, and maybe even failure because they had a skill that was their plan B that became literally their plan A. And then you relied so heavily on academics and intellectual properties and everything that you're not entrepreneurial. What a skill helps you to do is that it helps you understand the functionality of making money, not just the paper, not just paper money. Help you to understand the emotions attached to money, the feeling of earning a paycheck, the feeling of sweating. It does something to even people that I usually say that get from school, even finish school, they didn't learn a trade. I always say to them that try and work under someone. So all of those learnings that we pick up from these experiences add to us in every way. They do not take away anything from us. As a parent right now, my son, wants to computer engineering for his undergraduate for his university. Slots in Nigeria, anybody that knows slots, he's already doing the software, so the software and the hardware. He's already learning the software, but whether I like it or not, he's learning the software. Because I don't want him to go to school, especially our schools that are like somehow you learn the theory of it and you don't know how to actually sit down and apply yourself and tinker and come up with solutions when it comes to machinery or handling of computers. So for me, it's a plus all the way. Literally has no minus. Absolutely a plus.
Thank you so very much, Bolu. You say hi, I kept quiet and just listening to you, fire away. Yes, look, you said something. You were like, something was like going to learn skills was like plan B for some people, and then it then became their plan A. Should that be the thinking? Because right now you have an army of people with certificates that certificate route has still remained the plan A. Okay, it has remained the plan A, even within the educational curricula in Nigeria. Places like Nigeria is still the plan A. Meanwhile, if you go to other developed environments, those who go to the universities, the population of those who go to universities is very minimal. Very, really. Okay? The economies are skills based. Let me give an example. A young man finishes, if you've been listening to the debates going on in the US about their presidential campaign and all of that, you listen to candidate after candidate share their stories about how they've worked in McDonald's, how they've worked here, how they work. But in places like Nigeria, people look down because that's one word or one expression you didn't use while you were, you said
I used the word stigma. But that was what I meant.
Understand the stigma, yeah, but then let's hit it. Let's hit it for what it is. Okay, people tend to look down on artisans as
absolutely
good for nothing, dropouts, and all of that. And that, for me, when you were making your contribution, was my understanding of how, they think I can't pass in school. That's why they went to buy me washing machine, hair making. But your parents had an idea. But again, we come back to the issue of parenting. Why are we here? Communication, okay? It wasn't communicated to you clearly as to why you should do that. It's okay. You should know now you're using, this is it here. You should know why it's here. We should communicate. We should especially now, it is even much more urgent now, okay? That we are not knocking formal education. We are not knocking academics, okay? We're saying that the paper you come up with, you go to school, you have a first degree, they tell you, okay, maybe if you go and do your master's, when you come out, and you go and get 1 master's, 2 masters, 3 masters, you're still mastering nothing. Here, in the northern part of the world, North America, Europe, Asia, well, Asia is not northern part of the world. Well, in some other parts of the world, you find out that you have young people who from 17, from 15, they are working in a factory, picking fruits, threading something, picking one part of one component, not the whole component, because a component is made up of different parts. But people work on each and every part of that equipment before it became an equipment. Okay, we've not learned that. Now, let me paint a picture here. Okay, let me travel back to Nigeria here. Let me land in Ikeja in Nigeria. Okay, in the evenings around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, the factories around the industrial areas in Ikeja will close. You see people streaming out of those factories. The society looked down on those people as good for nothing, dropouts, and all of that. Meanwhile, in places like here, the Canada you want to come to, the America you want to go to, that is the engine room of the economy. That is the engine room of the economy, because they realize that service holds humankind together. From food to health to fashion, it is service. So now people wait to go to the university, get first degree, get second degree, get third, get fourth. They now go to learn sewing. Hello? They now go to learn sewing. They now go to learn how to make clothes. They now go to learn how to repair one thing or the other. Okay? That is why I feel that applauding this couple is needed. That is why I'm also saying that shouldn't it become something that parents should deliberately, intentionally, now more than ever before, push to their children? Okay? Because we've still not learned the entrepreneurial benefit of service. Okay? We're still talking down on people. He's just an ordinary farmer. He's just a carpenter. He's just a plumber. Meanwhile, in places like Canada, US, UK, and all that, go and find out how much a plumber earns. Go and find out how much you go and sit in an office would earn. Okay? So the economic challenges that are confronting places like Nigeria are multifaceted. And having graduates with certificates, but who are not employable, who have virtually no skills to contribute to the economy in meaningful ways, okay? Except wanting to go into civil service environment. Whereas the civil service environment itself is choked. Those who are there are not planning to leave. They keep falsifying age to remain there. There's no room for new people to come in. And yet we are still having people targeting certificates. Okay? So my question is, or my concern is, shouldn't we be now having more parents like this couple? Now, intentionally pushing their children, yes, go to school in the morning. You know, your experience that you shared was not different from mine. So you are not alone. Okay? You are not alone. I will tell you, but I took my own differently and I stayed with it even till today. My father, okay, was in the printing trade, okay, owned a printing press. So he felt it was better for me to be in the press. When I finished primary school, he felt I should learn in the press and then go to school in the evening. Okay? Go to that. As at that time, there was this evening classes that the federal government had put in place to study sciences and all of that. That time. Father was like, okay, yes, stay in school, stay in the press, learn, let the workers teach you this, teach you. I protested like you. My own was my own was not, do you think? No, I protested. I'm like, yes, it's funny now, but yeah, we're discussing it now. I protested. I told my dad I want to go to school. I registered in the English school. Can you imagine? In the evening classes, they did only sciences because that was the time the federal government was promoting study of the sciences. Okay, physics, chemistry, biology, additional mathematics, maybe geography, economics, finish, English. That's all. And I wanted to go to secondary school, normal school, be with my friends and all of that. I didn't understand the old man's vision that time. Okay? But I stayed with it. Yes, I stubbornly insisted I wanted to go to proper regular secondary school. Yes, I went. But I remained with that trade. I learned that workshop. I learned, okay, I can't operate any machine, but I employ people who, because I know what they need to do, I'll tell them what they need to do. I own the printing press, and I could say, okay, know this machine, know this, because I grew up knowing that we have not learned to respect artisans. Parenting can help us change that mindset. Okay? Parents can help us change that mindset of, there's nothing wrong with being a hairdresser. Okay? Your child tells you want to be a hairdresser, you nearly go, you'll be out of your mind. What do you say? You want to be what? Okay? Hairdresser, Professor Wale, I know you are much into it should be all rounded. They should learn entrepreneurship. But could we advocate for parents to take it one step at a time? Okay? Let them even see more parents send their children to learn skills intentionally, not by default. Okay? Not by accident. Not because they couldn't pass one exam to go to the next class. Okay? One step at a time. What do you think about this, sir?
No, I've already said it. The parents should encourage their children to acquire skills. There's nothing wrong with that. But all I'm saying is that yes, after acquiring the skill, there is need for them to understand what entrepreneurship is, so that they can be able to apply it better. The way entrepreneurship is taught today is quite different from the way entrepreneurship is being taught yesterday. Most entrepreneurship, because I teach in a business school, and most entrepreneurship schools now, like we run in our own school, is project-based. And so that is project-based, and you are going to set up a company, you are going to have a project, you are going to start, come up with an invention, innovation, and what have you, something that can solve the problem of the society. That's what we advocate now. That's why we call our place Entrepreneurship and Innovation Technological Center. So it's important that we understand that. Now, one problem that we have in Nigeria is that we have a lot of educated, certificated people who are not skillful. When Dangote refinery was being built, they needed 70,000 workers who have technical know-how, not certificated in plumbing, in welding, in carpentry, in all of those things that are required. metallurgy, engineering. They couldn't find such skillful people in Nigeria. They had to go to India, to have to go to Bangladesh, to have to go to Pakistan and bring in those people. And those people were paid less than $1,000. And that type of money will have boosted our economy if many of our people, the so-called artisans, they understand what needs to be done when it comes to, working in such places. But because our educational system does not encourage, what we call the town and gown, because the town and gown is very important. That is the only way that universities and institutes will have impact on the society, because that's what we are for. What's the impact of any research that we do that does not have any impact on the society where we've innovated? There are quite a lot of innovations today in Nigeria that are carried outside the country. Most of them are carried out because there is no support. And the support we talk about is not just government, individuals. I can tell you from what we have read, most of the billionaires in US, they are really supporting a lot of enterprises, small enterprises. Of recent, I don't know whether you read it, somebody gave $1 billion to a university in US, I think College of Medicine, one university, that anybody who wants to study medicine there will do it FOC for that money is going to last for the next 20 years. So we also need to encourage our people, those who have money, to also support inventions, support innovations, support things that our people are bringing up. So my take is that parents should send their children to go and learn skill. There's nothing wrong with that. But they should not stop them from also getting formal education. The two can go hands in hand. Like that was the way some of us did it in those days. Thank God now, with that clip that we watched concerning that boy who is in a mechanic workshop, it is something that should be done. Pari passu as you study, because if anything happens in future, you can at least, with your level of education, reform what you have learned and make it better and make money from it, so that you can at least start building your own life and family. So basically, that's what I will just contribute. I like to encourage parents to go that route.
Thank you so much, Professor Wale. Bolu, I come back to you. You mentioned stigma. Okay, you mentioned stigma at the time, and then I use the street language, look down on, street phrase, look down on. Now, what would you think would be the best approach to handling the stigma issue? Because it's still there, it's not gone. Poverty or hunger has not removed it. It's still there. People still look down. People still, believe, take it that someone, a child or a young person who has gone to and a trade is just not. It's embarrassing the family, or it's not ambitious. So what do we do about this stigma from the parenting viewpoint? Because look, here we're not about the government can take forever to. We are saying parents should take charge of what happens with their children going forward. You have just said what you did with one of your own children who wants to do engineering. Okay, go and start with a hands-on experience about what this could be all about when you get there. Okay, yeah. So what should be done about the stigma issue from a parenting viewpoint?
I think that number one, modeling is such an important, if not the most important part of parenting. So I think modeling in every sense of the word, modeling in our vocabulary, in how in our gestures, our body language. So you see, you interact with these artisans, for lack of a better word, every single time, and you speak to them in a certain manner that is condescending, undermining, belittling. We have to do better as parents. We have to show that professionalism is not so much as the quality of the career that you have, but the fact that you are providing a service or a product in exchange for money. So you're not doing them a favor when a carpenter comes to work in your house, by paying them. You're not doing your welder a favor. You're not doing your tailor a favor. They are producing for you a product that you can use, be proud of, that will even perhaps improve your self-esteem. And then you are looking down on them. So how we interact with these artisans in the presence of our kids, we let them know that the dignity of persons are preserved regardless of what you choose to do. Because again, it's association, right? They have seen you, not you perhaps, but many people in society look down on them, use words, that are derogatory and everything over and over again, see people act a certain way to them. So we have to show them that, number one, that dignity is preserved as persons. I think another thing that I would say is that sometimes you have to show them, so it's what you feed your eyes on that becomes your reality, or that is what you enlarge, that is what you know to be true. Many times I remember that because I have a child that has a health challenge, many times at a point I really, now that I'm talking about that, I should go back to it. I've not done that in the last 6 months. I think I've done it at all this year, which is really pretty bad. But there was a time that TED Talks by children or any other public speaking engagement done by children particularly is what I'll play for them, because many of them had people that had grass to grace stories, but beyond that, people with disabilities, or like we used to say, people with these abilities. I would show them case studies, people with such disabilities that are doing great, that are refusing to be held back by those things. So you keep showing them possibilities in that, people that are, so whether it is a physical disability or an intellectual disability, show them that you can be whoever you want to be, and then actually now by yourself help them. There was a time I teased one of my daughters, my only daughter actually. We went to a supermarket and I was like, if not for child labor, you should be working here. Because anytime she enters and everybody else enters after her, she's like, hello, good morning, hi. And she's a greeter. So I was not telling the owner of the place that, come and employ my baby. Just for the fact that there's this very sweet girl greeting everybody that comes in. She will just add, what do you want to buy today? Should I help you with something? 2 more lines and you're good to go. And people will be looking for, they will just about her and they want to come to your supermarket because there's this adorable little girl that is there. But, and we all laughed about it. But to think that that was like a seed sown in my daughter's heart. Like a few months after, she now asked, Mommy, am I now old enough to go and work there?
So what was your answer? What was your answer?
I'm like, no, you're not, because that would be child labor.
Why was she not old enough to go to work?
10 years old.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
If anyone sees you working there, they will come and call your mama and be like, we don't have social security here. They're like, this was this woman doing? Are you sure she's one that gave birth to this child? Why is she using her? But it just, again, in those very sublime ways, education for me is more powerful, more pungent when we can do it in such a way that bypasses the conscious resistance that we have. So anything that makes us not to be defensive would likely influence us more. But once you have a posture that is, no, what's that? I'm not doing this. Once your biases are on red alert, you will just be hearing, you won't listen to enter, that communication won't be effective. So I think as parents, again, everything that we think in our hearts, we should communicate in the simplest, clearest ways possible. The reasons why we want them to have those things. And encourage them to be a part of the process so that they will look forward to actually, having those skills that we want them to be equipped with as they grow older. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Encouraging them, would it for you include taking them to any of those places and saying, okay, you can start learning this trade?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Okay, because I really like the idea of the whole issue around messaging and modeling, okay? In terms of what do we say to service providers, okay? Let's not have an understanding that everything revolves around service. Everything revolves around service. And then the societies that have learned that have positioned people. Professor Yewale gave an example about Dangote refinery opening, and they couldn't find certain people. While people like Nigeria are say they are looking for work, it has not changed. We often find people talking about change of mindset. It's going to change this mindset, okay? Which is why we are focusing on parents. Which is why we are focusing on what this couple have done with their son. Which is why we are advocating that let it be intentional, okay? Let it not be something, let it not be plan B. It shouldn't even be plan B, okay? Let it be that something that I'm not saying you don't go to school. If I said that I would not learn trade unless I go to school and people like that, I won't be the last one. If you will say, why are you buying me dryers? You think I know you need. The world we live in today is dependent on services. Is dependent on services. Whether you're a hairdresser, whether you're even that shop attendant, that's your daughter, but for age, whether you're even that, if that store attendant is not there, unless they now bring a robot to replace her or him, not reached that stage yet, okay? People have reached that, some places have reached that stage where it's robots that are checking them out at counters and all of that. You go to certain shops, departmental stores, you have self-checkouts that, it's computers and all of that. But, service is still service. But let me take it to another area. Even where it is computers, why do you have computers? The computers are doing something that somebody was doing before. Absolutely. It is somebody it is actually oftentimes in the northern part of the world, people who were doing those things who got to think about how they could do it faster and better. And those thinkings lead to inventing some of those machines. We use the mop stick today. We take it for granted. It was invented by a slave to do the mopping and the cleaning faster and, all right? Doing skilled things also has its own academic and intellectual, because you mentioned, do you not agree that people who are rendering service are deficient intellectually? No. Okay? That might not be what you meant. That might not be what you meant to us. Might say what she's saying. Does she mean that people are intellect? Okay? It actually could, cultivate somebody's intellectual capacity to say, look, I can come. Okay? Now, let's look at the economics of this, and we'll round up around the time. A child who at 17 works in a conveyor belt in a factory from 17 is already earning, okay, even if it's minimum wage, okay? And year in, year out, it goes from there, from being that fresh and blessed to be a team leader. From there, he gets to become a supervisor. He didn't go to college. He didn't go to any university, He becomes a supervisor. From there, becomes a manager. From there, rendering a service. And for some people, in the course of doing that, like I've said already earlier, they come up with some ideas, even about how to arrange those things better. And it might not be with machine. It will just be, if we put this one before here, it will be easier for this assembly to work faster. I'm just thinking. But when our children are only primed to go to cram textbooks, okay, now go to ask AI. Yes, it's gotten worse now. Go to ask AI to write it. Okay, so we're even preparing them not even to think again, even on the academics. Technology is even preparing, don't even think, don't worry. Just, maybe you have computer, you have phone, all right? What's that assignment your teacher gave you? You ask the question, AI will rule it out. It would take a teacher too that is tech savvy to now want to research to find out whether it's AI that answered that question or not. That's begging the issue. That's stretching it. Okay? But when we let our children know that learn a trade, it's not the day that boy went into that mechanic workshop that he learned how to change brake pads. He watched, he saw, he knew which one was for the left side, which one was for the right side of the vehicle. He knew what level brake pad would be at before it can be changed, and he will take step by step. It's not pressure cooker mentality, not microwave mentality. We are bringing up our children with microwave, pressure cooker, photocopy mentality. We have even worsened it now. We have it on steroids with AI. Okay, so now economically, like I said at the beginning, 10-year-old that started, he's already earning. Okay, what happened here? I'm in Canada here. They will send them to a training place. They call them CJEP here in Quebec. Skill centers. They go to learn certificates. 1 year, 2 years, certificates. They are doing their work, and his learning is going to get that certificate in that CJEP. Okay, which now gives him or her the paper qualification for that thing he's already doing. So you find out that the programs that are offered in those institutions are tailored along the line of what the industries need. How do you become a good picker of fruits in the farm? Yes. Oh, sure. How do you become a good sower? How do you sow seeds? How broken down into tasks, not huge certificates. Okay? Not huge programs that when you finish, you come out, you have certificate, it's nothing. So first, I commend the couple because that's why we label this edition teamwork always wins. Imagine if the father had said, my son, our son is going, and I want us to take him to go to learn, and the mother said, where? The stigma issue now comes in, like we've said, my own, how come I want to go to university? Why should I come and be staying with printers, ordinary printers that I didn't know that can't speak English? That was my own thing that time. Okay? Imagine if the wife had said no. Okay? There'll be disagreement. That child, okay, that opportunity gets lost. And what is more telling for this couple for me is that one of them is actually a Caucasian. One of them is a German that could say, okay, no, my son is not going, he's going to go. But because he understands that where she comes from, that's what works. And the man listened. Because again, where he comes from, really, okay, let's look at this synergy now. Where he comes from, that's what works. Apprenticeship works in the East, okay? Learning trade works in the East, the eastern part of Nigeria. I mean, when I say the East, okay? Apprenticeship works and all of that. Can we think about encouraging parents wherever they might be found in that place and in other such countries, other such regions of the world to say, get your children to learn a service. If you are not comfortable with word trade or skill, get your children to learn, yes, a service. Because humankind depend on service to survive, okay, to thrive. We're here. If the people who are maintaining the electricity power plants, wherever it is, being, generated around me here, if one of them goes to sleep, something will happen. There will be no electricity. There's no service. I won't have this program. Okay? If you go to check, the person who is on that duty might not have gone to any university. We learned how to do it. Okay? Bus conductors, for instance. Imagine entering a bus that has only driver and there's no conductor. Yes. The driver will lose money, number one. Okay? Some of the passengers might get those of them who don't know exactly the location of the stops where they are supposed to stop. The conductor performs a service. It's not a society reject, it's not. Okay? That bus conductor performs a service. When we begin to respect people, just like you said, Bolu, in accordance with the services they provide, which we need, maybe it might change. To think that people who render service might in some ways be lesser than ourselves. We look down on security guard that is at our gate. Okay? We look down on tending to our lawns and flowers and plants. With everybody else who is not carrying one certificate or the other. Our advice on this program, people, parents, get your children to learn a service. A service. If you don't like the word trade, if you don't like, get your child to learn a service. And early, the child who starts earning money at 17, saving money at 17, you won't grow gray hair to be supporting that child's first university after 17, after secondary school. He finishes, he goes to the university, he finishes. Because he has grown, because he's in the late 20s, early 30s, there's pressure from society or her to marry. He gets to marry, has no money, has no job. Okay? He's there and he marries. Well, because you have a house, you even rent a place for them and they live. But they're not earning anything and he can't. He feels too educated. Yeah? He feels too educated to go. But then, if it's that child that from 17, like this child now, he's learned to do that mechanic thing. Even if he's doing house calls, you, mother, you, father, wouldn't have to pay his maternity bills when his wife delivers. He would be in a position to be able to do that by himself. He would have learned how to earn a living early enough. He would have had the skills to earn a living outside of the certificate-crazed environment that some of us live in. Okay? So, Bolu, as we round up, Professor Wale, if you're still with us, not if you're still with us, I know you're still with us, okay? What would be our closing arguments or closing messages to parents concerning our children acquiring service skills? Professor Wale? Okay, I think he might be having some technical issues. So, but what would be your closing advice or closing argument about, parents now, greater uptake or for getting their children to acquire skills for service?
I would just say that for it and ask yourself the hard questions. Sometimes many of the philosophies that we hold here, some of the belief systems that we have, when we query those things, we audit them, we realize that they are founded on vanity, nothingness, superficiality, perhaps. So doing that already gives you a head start so that whenever you are confronted in the future with whys or why nots, you would have already totally done, your homework. And so you are unfazed literally by what anybody intends to interpret your actions as. And as you were sharing, I remember that it was important that I also say this, that, for instance, there are many skills besides the fact that I had to journal, so that helped me to improve my writing skills. My father would give me Bumblebee storybooks. I don't remember Bumblebee Ladybird series of books. You read them and then he asks you, what did you learn from it? And he's looking for you to tell him what you got from the story in your own words, and so that was, as subtle as that appears to be, when I was studying in university, that helped me to be able to capture things, process. So it helped me with comprehension. It helped me with articulation also. So I can comprehend what is being said, chew it in my own words, and then bring it out in a way that is more me, So that really helped. And then apart from that, I make shoes. So the fact that my mommy wanted me to go and learn fashion designing and hairdressing, I refused to at the time. When I was done, after a while, I had to still go and learn. Still didn't finish. Can you imagine? Even when I now paid through my nose for it, but at least I how they say that you're not a master at it, but I can I can make a proper pair of slippers. I can do a good shoe. So, and those things might not be bringing the majority of my income, but but I must confess that they have earned me some decent income as well. So you can imagine if I'd started doing shoemaking or bag making or this decades ago. I can't even imagine the franchise I might have built, by now. So ask yourself the hard questions, and once you can articulate properly why you're doing those things, just go for it, regardless of how society has not caught on. Just live your life to the full, leverage all that you have, and ensure that your kids, you help them to do that as well.
Thank you so very much, Bolu. It's always a pleasure hearing your perspective on issues. There you go, people. That's our program for today. Thank you so very much for being with us. What we've been talking about is the issue of, should I say versus? Should I say this against this or this versus this? We're talking about paper qualification as against having our children to acquire skills for service. Okay, skills for service. Like Bolo have said, let's go low. Let's remove the issues of the stigma. The issue of looking down on people, looking down on trades, looking down on service providers. That we need, that we actually pay. We make money with our tie and our grammar. Yeah, even if you don't think about any other thing, after all your grammar and your tie, you pay that person money. You should think about that. Why don't you do it yourself? Okay, you pay that person money. So respect that person. Part of that respect, like Bolu has said, will be to also produce the next generation of such service providers. Okay, have you ever wondered when you walk into a toy shop for your kids? Think about this, because this is where I want to leave you guys. In the northern part of the world here, people buy construction equipment toys for their sons. They buy catering equipment toys for their daughters. They buy nursing gears for, their children. They buy toys in relation to the, service aspirations or dreams that they see that their children are beginning to have, even from those ages. Somebody says, I want to be a fireman. The parents go out and buy that child a fire truck, fire engine. As he grows up to be able to wear, they go to look for to uniform, fireman uniforms as birthday gifts. You're already preparing that child's mind for the real world, What birthday gift are we buying for our children? You're buying the children things, you're giving your child iPhone for free. It doesn't even know how it's made. You already given. What are we preparing our children for? How are we preparing them? We complain about the society not being organized, the society not being productive. How are we preparing our children to answer to those societal deficiencies? Next time you're going to buy birthday gifts for your children, especially for your young children, think about these things. Think about knowing what those children have passion for. Ask questions as they grow up. Interact with them. Communicate. Those things that they tell you they have passion for. Next time you're going to buy birthday gifts for them, look for those toys that speak to those traits, those services, and give to them. And begin to reinforce those in them, so that as they grow, as they, become able to go to learn those trades, they might on their own say they want to go to learn it. And you will then be in agreement, because you see that it's grown organically with your help, with your support, and they're going there. It doesn't stop them from acquiring formal education if they want to. Okay? So with that, I say thank you so very much for being with us today. And it's always a thing of joy to join you, to be here, to present this program, to host the program. Thank you for listening to us. And for those of you who are maybe joining us for the very first time, if you missed any of our programs, you can always check us out at our YouTube channel. We have videos for past editions there. Okay, we're also on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. You can check us out at Slow Parenting, and then leave your comments. Leave your questions, leave your perspective on the issues we've raised here, on the issue or issues we've raised on the other past editions, and we'll always respond to you. Okay, you can be sure about that. Okay, till we'll come your way again next Wednesday. It's always 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, US and Canada, and 7 p.m. West African Time, including Nigeria. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.
To every goal, and no matter the best or the most noble of mirroring that we do modeling, sometimes they veer off. I know that there are exceptions.
Focus on quality time rather than the other type of parenting where you look at.
The original Nigerian pepper soup. I tell you, like it, you love it.
That's fish soup right there, man. Get that. That's very good. Super spicy, super tasty.
We can put the authentic African stuff.